Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. I was about to say aap dekh rahe hain Cricbuzz Live because I've spent the last 2 days on the Hindi show, but here I am on the English show. Also sitting in front of me is Ajay Jadeja. We've actually spent the last 2 days on the Hindi show. Should we just change language shift? Just change the chip.
Yeah. English.
All right, there you go. Language change to English. I just added this myself. We also have joining us from an undisclosed location, which he claims is Australia, but his claim is correct because we did hear him in Melbourne the other day in that historic India-Pakistan game. Mr. Harsha Bhogle, how are you, sir?
नमस्कार जी, मैं फिलहाल सिडनी में हूँ. ओ सॉरी, इंग्लिश है. Sorry. Currently I'm in Sydney. लेकिन इतना हिंदी बोल रहा हूँ मैं because I'm only meeting Indians and Pakistanis. I'm starting to wonder if there's any Aussies left in Australia.
None around the cricket stadium for sure.
No chance. I mean, Melbourne में तो there was absolutely no chance of seeing anybody. It was something else, man. It was something else. At the end, when they were singing Chak De India, It's amazing. First of all, how 60,000 people were all getting the words right and singing together.
Yeah.
But it was an unreal feeling to hear 60,000 people or maybe more singing Chak De India at the end. It was one of the more emotional moments you'll see.
Yeah, but I think that's the first thing that both Ajay and me are wanting to ask you, because of course we could feel the excitement here thousands and thousands of miles away. I can't even imagine what it would be like in the commentary box there. But if there's any person who can put that emotion in words, is you, big brother.
But you know, you start to get stressed a little bit because you get caught up in the emotion as well. And then you realize, hang on, this is not just an India game, this is a Pakistan game as well. Yeah. So you can't only be an India commentator. You've got to realize, hang on, till 2 balls from the end, when Nawaz bowled that wide, Pakistan were actually with the possibility of actually winning it. So you've got to manage both, then still hope that the emotions are coming out right. And all of yesterday I've been thinking, Allah, ye bol sakta tha. Arey wo nahi bola maine. Arey ye bol sakta tha na Kohli ke bare mein. Arey Ashwin ke bare mein I didn't say that. So, but it was a different experience. I was exhausted, by the way, at the end of those 5 overs.
Yeah. Tell me something. I mean, you've been to so many India-Pakistan games as well. We've been calling it, obviously, when you talk about the brand of cricket, but that everybody in the world can see, you've had that vantage position of being in the ground, observing the spectators, inside, outside, just the general atmosphere. As far as all that is concerned, one of the more memorable ones?
Look, till recently, India-Pakistan matches were never close.
Good point.
They tended to be one-sided. In World Cups, mostly one-sided in India's favor. Not in Pakistan, but the last 3 Asia Cup, the 2 in the Asia Cup, and now have suddenly become close. Before that, you didn't have a close game. So once the game started, half an hour into the game, there really wasn't much tension because you knew one team was that far ahead. Whereas this one, just look at the twists and turns. Pehle 2 wickets, Pakistan lost 2 wickets. Then that partnership. Then suddenly they forgot that the boundary is 85 meters. They thought the 30-yard circle is the boundary. They all started hitting the ball up. Then that last flourish. They got to 159. You lost 2 wickets. Came to the last over. There were so many twists and turns when you could never believe when the game was over. I mean, it was a classic. And you know Virat very well. I promise you not there was a tear. Let him deny it all his life. There was a tear. And you could see that he was spent. He was like that. And to think that people who've seen that much, who appear so tough, was so much into it. I actually thought the coolest one was Ashwin.
Yeah.
But Virat was so into the moment. And, you can't believe. Can you believe that 3-4 months ago, there was some part-time spinner bowling the first ball in an IPL and getting Virat caught at mid-wicket?
Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, it happens.
And that shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you ask Ajay. Ajay played some incredible shots in that 96 semi-final. Yeah. What the pressure would be when his weight is on the back foot to hit Aris Rauf over long gone. I mean, that shot was something else. I think Virat was just physically there. In his mind, he was somewhere else. He was in some sort of a higher plane, a zone. But you have to, right, Ajay? That's how you, in such a high pressure game like that, you've got to be in some sort of elevated zone, right?
You got to be. I mean, we were all sitting, but Bade was right there, and we were looking at the game and saying, the pressure that they were soaking in. I mean, we talk not the pressure of scoring or anything. When you're chasing, you're batting, you've been batting for 10, 15 overs. To leave at 45 or 48 in that last 2-3 overs, that the way they were soaking in the pressure. But very interesting thing, what I want to ask you is, that over the years, and you said, there were never close games like this with India-Pakistan. It was always one way, somebody would give way, and long before the game actually ended. From my side, I think it was that 6 that Virat hit after Hardik had hit that first one, because Nawaz wasn't expecting the second one, the opposition wasn't expecting the second one. Then Hardik hit the third, and then Pakistan just wasn't there. What is it? What is it that you think now these India-Pakistan games are getting closer? Because they never got close, no matter who won. There was a reason behind it. Now, what is the reason you think is that why are they getting closer? Because every game's gone to the last ball.
Yeah.
I think everybody is getting into the situation. Everybody is getting worked up. But also, I think this is the best Pakistan T20 side I've actually seen for a very long time. Because their bowling with all 5 bowlers is excellent. Lekin aapne jo point kiya na, that 12th over, they realized they had to go after Nawaz. That was Nawaz's 3rd over. If they had not gone after him then, Babar would have bowled him a 4th over.
Yeah.
And would have finished Nawaz, and then you would have had to play 6 overs of spin. And I think that is where Hardik's contribution was. And it's amazing. Virat thought that it was difficult to do. And Hardik kept telling him, no, we'll take it deep. It can happen. And I keep saying the Hardik of Gujarat Titans has changed. What we saw with Gujarat Titans has changed Hardik, the player, completely, because he batted as a batsman at number 4. He's thinking like a batsman. He's thinking of taking it deep. Actually, if you see, in the last 10-15 balls, he wasn't timing the ball.
Yeah.
But he had set it up to allow Virat to get to that stage. And those 2 sixes, I mean, Virat was saying, I knew I had to hit 2 sixes. It's like, Gaurav, you and me saying, yaar, mujhe pata tha, ek aur coffee peeni padegi humko show ke.
Yeah, it's as easy as that. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you see the football equivalent, some days you're the scorer and some days you do the assist. And, normally it's Hardik. Hardik is used to being kind of the king of the chases. And the king himself, the last 2 years, has not been the king of chases. But in this game, Hardik, the kingmaker, and the king was the king. Service as per usual. Oh, there you go. The king. Oh, well done. I'm very impressed with Abhimanyu, our producer. Well done. Look at this timing. We didn't plan this, I have to tell you.
You think this was his best? You genuinely feel?
I'll tell you what, in T20, I'm not saying in one-day cricket, there are many classics. He's played some great T20 innings in the past. But I just thought, given the pressure that was on him, he was asked about that innings in Mohali.
Yeah.
That innings in Mohali, my only concern, my only point with that innings in Mohali was that in 2016, he was on a different plane. Virat Kohli was looking down at the world. He was in the heavens. He could do what he wanted in those 2 years, those 2 or 3 years. Whereas here, he's coming out of a phase where maybe he had not believed in himself that much. I think the track was doing a little bit more. The boundaries, even though Mohali has big boundaries, these were very large boundaries. So just given all that, given the number of runs to be scored, I thought this was a more difficult innings. Ajay, aapko pata hoga, kabhi I'm used to in master play. When you see Tendulkar play, there are so many great Tendulkar innings that we don't remember because he was so perfect. He made it look easy when it actually wasn't. So what Hardik said was interesting. He said, because we struggled through and came here, this is more memorable. I mean, I remember 98, Tendulkar got 100 of 90 balls against Australia in Kanpur. Nobody remembers that innings. I don't think he put a foot wrong. So because it was so simple, you don't remember it. I think in 2016-17, Virat was making the game look simple. Here, he's coming back.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We talk about, and we spoke about this in the Hindi show a lot, where we said that a great innings is basically not just defined by the numbers. You see 82 not out and yeah, okay, cool. But it's the context. It's how you did it, when you did it, why you did it, against who you did it. All those things add up. And that's the context that makes one innings better than the other, which is why all 3 of us are believers in the fact that cricket, yes, well, cricket is about numbers, but the story is sometimes beyond the numbers. And that's why we 3 storytellers are sitting here on Cricbuzz Live. We tell the stories.
Just one thing while Ajay is there, we all had our doubts about whether Virat should be there, and finally you go with pedigree. But Ajay keeps saying, jab player acha karta hai, kya karta hai?
Yeah. Correct. Because when they all, because 0-0 for everyone, like you say.
Yeah. And in fact, I mean, I was one of those when Rohit was trying to look at, and say, look, we want to play differently. We want to play aggressive cricket. We want somebody at strike rate at the top. I said, then he probably doesn't fit into your side.
Yeah.
Because that's even, I mean, this is because it's past and it's easy to talk. he's scored this and everybody, and Bade Bhai also thinks it's the best innings that he's ever played in 15 years. But if you go back to what Rohit Sharma wanted to play, he still hasn't achieved that.
Yeah.
So, but what he's achieved now, he's been achieving for 15 years.
Yeah.
So if you were happy with him a year ago or 2 years ago, then you should be still happy.
Yeah.
But if you weren't happy with him a year ago, how he plays, and you wanted him to play differently, then
That's still not been done.
he's still where he was.
Yeah.
He's still in that plat. And that is what I always say, that it is never easy for a player, especially for somebody who's played for so many years, to go and change suddenly. Yeah, we might change the perception.
Yeah.
I mean, DK is a good example. That day, the perception a year ago was a different.
Yeah.
Last year has been a whole different perception.
Yeah.
That last innings is back to that old perception. I mean, I'm saying if you go by results and facts only.
Yeah.
So we change our perception, the player remains the same.
Yeah.
There is good times that he's going through. Had this inning, and I said this in yesterday, but I said, had that one ball, that 11 runs that we didn't get, maybe this innings would have turned out to be the worst. Because you would have had DK sitting in the dugout for so long and batting to come with Ashwin and everyone.
Yeah.
And you'd lost the game. Then things would have looked, bad innings.
No.
Too slow, left too much for late. So result decides whether something is good or not, is one way of looking at the game.
But
the other way is what you want your team to play like.
But at the end of the day, what we were talking about is the temperament he showed, the way that the game turned, where they left it. I guess that entire narrative, that entire context has defined that. Okay, listen, let's bring it back. I know we get very excited. We saw Mr. Bhogle there, and he was at the game. He was our eyes and ears on the ground. So we had to ask him all these questions, and both of us are curious Georges. So we did. But let's come back to the game that's being played today. This is Australia playing Sri Lanka. Very, very important game for Australia. Every World Cup game is important. Of course, in the Super 12, this is a Group 1 game. But this becomes, again, it's about context. This game becomes even more important because of the heavy defeat of margin. Not just the defeat, but the heavy margin of defeat of the previous game against New Zealand, which was their first game. The replay of the final from last year, and New Zealand giving a proper walloping to Australia there, their largest margin of defeat by runs in a T20 World Cup. So that's done for them. And today, if Sri Lanka manages to get over the line against Australia, given this big negative net run rate, it is curtains. It is curtains, Mr. Bhogle. It is bye-bye for the defending champions and the hosts, proving once again that all that empirical data is correct. No team has defended their title, right? No team has defended their title. Has anyone defended their title? 14, 16. No home team has won it.
No team has defended their title.
No
And
home team has won it.
On only 2 occasions has a team that's won actually made it to the semi-final next time.
There you go. So could it be, that's why this game is so important for Australia. It could actually be bye-bye birdie for them today.
Yeah, also, I saw some algorithms that were being passed around, and if Ajay, just tell Ajay not to listen to this because he doesn't like algorithms.
Yeah.
But there's an algorithm that says 25% chance for Australia from here on to actually qualify, because they have to win very, very big.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't drop a point for a start, but they've got to win very big from here on. They've still got to play England, and in their group, that's the tougher group.
Yeah.
You know, they've lost to New Zealand. They lose to England, they're gone straight away.
Yeah.
Unless they hope that someone else drops a couple of matches on the way. So they've got to win big. Now the question is, how do they go about it? I think what have they done? They won
the toss and they're fielding. Yes, they're going to be bowling first today.
They want to knock Sri Lanka over. They want to knock Sri Lanka over quickly and get those runs quickly.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? I would have thought that since obviously Adam Zampa is tested positive for COVID and he still has been cleared, he was like he can.
But he's not playing.
But he's not playing.
Yeah,
he's not playing, but he was cleared to play. Apparently saying, COVID, no problem. Go ahead, play. Yes, pyar band pe chalo, no problem. So here's the thing, right? We were debating this before the show began, saying who will they get in the place? Like, can they get Cameron Green? You know, they got a little pace coming in from there. Can they just get Kane Richardson and go out and out all seam? Because they are playing at Perth. And we saw what Mark Wood did at Perth a couple of days ago, right? Proper pace can still shake people. And they have decided to go spinner for spinner. So they've decided to get Ashton Agar in. And I want to get Ajay's thoughts on this.
See, it's an interesting one. I mean, algorithm says you can't play a left-arm spinner against so many left-handers, but they're playing there. I love the algorithm. It's just that I don't agree with each one of them.
Yeah.
By the way.
Fair.
So, but the other algorithm says that Australia doesn't flip-flop very often. They stick to, if they lose, they win. There's a way they want to play and they carry on playing that.
Yeah.
If the player's not that, they found another, they're in that trouble, and I'm with that algorithm that Harsha is talking about. There's very little chance of making it.
Yeah.
Unrealistic one, because when they beat England as well, they'll have to need to get that kind of run rate. But still, they've carried on the way they think should be played. They're not going the way Pakistan went the other day, that you have a left-arm spinner but get him to bowl seam at the end.
Yeah.
So if they've got somebody, how they want to play, they wanted a spinner, Zampa's not fit, they've carried on with that.
Yeah.
So I think this is Australian style of playing. They've played like this for last 20 years.
Yeah.
Once they decide that they want to go in a direction, whether they win, they lose, they carry on. Because the difference between India, Pakistan and Australian teams are that the pressure on those teams or captains or selectors, there isn't any pressure in Australia for a selector or a captain to make a decision.
Yeah.
Whereas in India and Pakistan, it's not just those 2, 3, 4 guys who make those decisions.
Yeah.
So it's way beyond that. So I think they've done what I expected them to do. I would have liked to see another seamer in there, because that's the way we think.
But I'll tell you what, you do have another seamer in there, because Mitchell Marsh in the previous game, after the previous game in the press conferences said, I am okay to bowl. Because I tell you what, there is no greater motivation to help you achieve bigger heights than a guy who is screaming down on the rearview mirror, isn't there, Harsha?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, if Marsh is fit, he can bowl 138, 140 if he's fit. The question is, Marsh sometimes is a bit like the Friday release.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen on Sunday.
Yeah, correct.
So
whether it'll still be there on Sunday or not.
So if he bowls 2 overs, that's good enough, because they've got Stoinis as well.
Yeah.
They've got 3 fast bowlers plus Marsh plus Stoinis.
Yeah.
They can actually use Agar only 1 or 2 overs, and Agar is a very, very decent batsman if you require him there. So I think they'll probably use him for a couple of overs, because this is a fast bowler's track. And I'm surprised. I'm looking at the Sri Lankan side, and they have only 1 bowler who they can classify as fast.
Yeah.
And he travels, man. If Lahiru Kumara doesn't get his lines right, he goes 40, 45 quite often. So you take out Lahiru Kumara, and you've got what? Binura Fernando is medium pace. He's also, by the way, I don't want to be rude to him, but he's very, very medium pace in the field.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. Yeah.
You being nice to him, Harsha.
You're being nice to him. But yeah, let's build
There's
up.
only one other guy like him.
Who?
There's only one other guy like him, and that is this guy called Vikramjit Singh, who plays for Netherlands.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. Let's pull the Sri Lanka squad up and see. The good news for them, of course, is that Nisanka is back. He was not fit for the previous game, so he is back. Kushal Mendes, who's been showing great form, of course, the wicket-keeper right at the top, opening with Nisanka. Dhananjay De Silva, Charita Salanka got a 30 not out in the previous game. There was no scoreboard pressure, so he stuck around and ensured that, he middled a few. Rajapaksha, who's been middling a few and sending them out of the state. And if they're playing in Sri Lanka, sometimes just out of the country. Dasun Shanaka, the captain, we've got a big fan in Ajay Jadeja here, likes Shanaka's hitting and the way he plays. Hasaranga, Chamika Karunaratne, Binura Fernando, Mahesh Thikshana with his arrows, and Lahiru Kumara. But yes, they really, Ajay, are missing the pace of Dushmanta Chamira.
Yeah, Chamira's a special bowler, especially for Sri Lanka. And, I mean, there's nothing you can do. You've gone, they would want him to be fit, but he's gone, so they have no other choice. And they probably rely on spin more, and they're sticking to what they know best. They would love to have fast bowlers or somebody who can bowl quick, but at the moment, this is the best side that they could have put on the park.
Yeah, fair enough. The Madhushanka and Madhushan, both are. Yeah. Both are not. So
Madhushanka is gone, Madhushan is injured.
So there you go.
Still.
And they didn't take Apna Jan Junior Malinga. They didn't, Malinga 2.0 just wasn't selected.
They picked Kasun Rajitha, who's a medium pacer.
Yeah.
They picked Kasun Rajitha. So I thought they might play Madhu, given the fact that Madhushan, who made such a good impact in the Asia Cup, given the fact that he's still injured or still not very certain, I thought that they might actually call the quicker bowler. But I think, as Ajay said about Australia, they will play the way they can. I think Sri Lanka said, okay, these are our strengths. This is how we will play. But so far in the tournament, they've not played genuinely tough opposition. I know they lost to Namibia and they lost badly.
Yeah.
But after that, it's been pretty much their way because they've been far better than the opposition they have played after that. This is the big test. This is a big test for them.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, they will make the ball fly.
Yeah.
Marsh and Stoinis can bowl 136, 138 as well.
Yeah.
They will make the ball fly. So, and they'll come out aggressive because Australia, that's the only way to play now. So I'm expecting a fiery game.
That's right. But here's the thing, right? I mean, when you saw the other day, when you saw Mark Wood bowling, or, this is not the Wacker. This is the Optus Stadium, right? It's a different ground. But it feels like the Wacker, the way the ball was bowling. Just two things. One is Hazelwood, one is Cummins. First of all, you would like to see a little less cuteness from Cummins in terms of the slower ones. Come on. You got the pace. Come on. Give us the pace. Learn from Mark Wood. Just go. Fast.
If you got pace, why would you not use it? And I understand. Well, the modern day cricket's become like that. You need to have variations. Because generally, what has happened suddenly in this World Cup is all year round, we see wickets flat around the world. Even in Australia, when you see Big Bash or you see all the other games, the wickets are flat. So the bowlers and the boundaries were much closer in those all other tournaments. In the World Cup, you're seeing bigger boundaries. You're seeing pitches that have, enough seam and bounce on it. But everybody's come prepared, thinking that certain kind of situations going to be there, certain kind of conditions are going to be wickets. So as a player, your mind is set to do certain things. You practiced enough. Yeah. And, only Mark Wood, who we've seen as yet, Lungi Ngidi yesterday started with a slower one first ball. I mean, a guy who can bowl 140. And, but it is something that has got into this game. It'll take a while because the guys who are playing are thinking, they're trying to get better. They're trying to, add something here, there. And eventually, but the thing is, you'll probably be late in this World Cup because whatever we've seen till now, the wickets, all wickets have enough for the seamers. There's seam around. Batting right at the top is not simple. It's not easy. So if you are Pat Cummins, I don't know how they work in Australia, what happens there, but it's got to be a simple message to him saying, listen, you are a premier fast bowler. We don't need you to bowl those variations. We need you to pick up wickets in a different way.
Yeah.
But it's like, you get used to, it's like a phone, people who are used to their phones look at it first thing in the morning or 10 times a day. Tell them not to look at it. They have a big problem because that's a habit.
Yeah.
So this is something like that. It's a habit that the bowlers have got into.
Yeah.
Because the other problem is the players around the world, whether it's the leagues, whether it's the teams, are being appreciated. When an owner buys you for a lot more money or a coach wants you in his team, is because you have these variations.
Yeah.
So the players want to play for teams, right? They want to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
So the world appreciates variation at the moment. So people who are not very good at it also are moving towards that.
Fair enough. I mean, then you have a guy like Josh Hazelwood, not very good at T20 cricket a couple of years back, and then has molded his game. And, of course, there are CSK fans who say that it's because of the time he spent with Dhoni.
Yeah,
come on.
I guess he simplifies things.
Let's just say that. We should. Why not? And he likes it. He likes Perth. Harsha?
Is that why we've made the graphics in yellow?
Yeah, there you go.
Not just that, we've got the chairs in yellow also, bhai.
We've got yellow stripes.
And yellow behind you.
Yeah, we've got it.
But my gut feel is they won't be cute today. My gut feel is they will try and blast Sri Lanka out with pace.
Yeah.
And this Optus Stadium is as big as the MCG. So even if you get a top edge or you play the pull shot, it's got to go a very long way. I just got a message from Russ. I was asking Russell, who's at the ground. He said, as big as the MCG.
Wow.
So you will get these, these long boundaries. I keep coming back to that decider that allowed Netherlands to come in. Ajay, David Villa has hit an 80-meter shot.
Yeah.
And he's got caught 1 yard inside the boundary.
Wow.
And that took Namibia out and brought Netherlands in. So here you're getting 80-meter shots.
Wow.
And we saw that with Pakistan yesterday. The go-to shot was up.
Yeah.
Similarly, I wonder if Sri Lanka will have to get over that. Luckily, they've played 4 games, but that get out of trouble shot, which in India goes for 6, doesn't go for 6 here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It is.
So how many twos? Did you see how many 2s and 3s they ran? At one point, I think Virat ran 3s.
Yeah.
And I thought I've seen 15 seasons of IPL. 3 kya hota hai?
Yeah, exactly. In all the T20 cricket I've seen in the last couple of years, when I saw a 3-run, I'd completely forgotten that I was still in the rules. Because I just hadn't seen a 3-run in a really long time.
Rohit Sharma was surprised. I mean, Bade Bhai was on air. You saw Rohit Sharma at the picture because he probably didn't realize it was still a free hit.
Yeah.
He was saying, "Ye kya ho raha hai?"
Yeah,
So,
correct.
not just us, even the captain was surprised with that.
There was
three.
just so much happening in that last over. That last over was like a sequel to Sholay. Really, it was drama, tragedy, action, comedy. There was just everything happening in that. 3 types of extras. It was like a buffet of extras. It was really confusing.
And somebody who hasn't got enough credit in that thing
Yeah.
is we were all having Diwali last night, Zach and Ajit and a whole lot of us. And I think people...
Ashwin's leave?
Yes, people don't give credit to that. It is, the mindset that when you walk in with 2 runs to get with 1 ball,
Yeah.
and to be able to let a ball go, that people are talking about toughness here and there, that is a mindset of a clear person who is not worried about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think he hasn't got credit for what he did.
Yeah.
That leaving a ball, it's like when I appreciate leaving the ball a lot more than others because I understand what leaving a ball means. If you can't do that, you can't play in Test cricket.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, but it is much bigger than that. This left with that 100,000 people in there.
Yeah.
Eh?
Sorry.
Also, that last single that he took, he didn't hit the ball hard. He just scooped it, he just placed it over mid-off.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? He just placed over mid-off and he's caught on the edge of the circle.
Yeah. No, it
He
was...
was so confident that with the timing he'll clear it.
Yeah, it was brave, and that's Virat called him brave as well right after that. So, that definitely. What happens, right, when you have one big performance like that? A lot of those get missed, like Bhuvi and Arshdeep and Shami's bowling. A lot of it got missed. But hey, listen, this is a long World Cup, and we'll talk about it. And there are a few games that you may be a little less interested in than the others, and those are the times we'll pull these stories out. Not taking no names, all right? But I'm going to take 2 names right now because they're batting first. It's Kushal Mendis and Nissanka. There'll be a lot of dependence on them. Kushal Mendis especially. He's a guy who's been kind of shunted up and down the order, right? Because he has the talent. He could bat anywhere. And then they decided that actually opening was the best for him. And just the kind of dependence that they have on him, Harsha, and he is coming good.
Purely in terms of pedigree. I mean, I liked what I saw of Charit Asalanka last time, but purely in terms of pedigree, Kushal Mendis is their best batsman.
Yeah.
And I think today, Kushal Mendis will be the key because Pathum Nissanka starts a little slowly sometimes. Yeah. Kushal Mendis has got to get going. There's a feeling that Rajapaksa doesn't like the ball round his nose, and that's why they moved him down from 3 where he played for Kings to 5 where he plays for Sri Lanka. So if the ball starts flying around, I think Mendis is the one who's got the ability. Dhananjaya can play, Asalanka can play, but I think Mendis is the key.
So Kushal Mendis right up front, and he has got the runs. And today Sri Lanka will really be relying on him because what's happening in this group is so interesting. That all the talk is about Australia, defending champions, then about New Zealand, finalists previous year, then England, of course, T20 powerhouse. And here's Sri Lanka, who just won the Asia Cup. And they won the Asia Cup. There was India and Pakistan there. So, treat them as kind of back a class at your own peril.
Yeah, you can't, treat them as if they have no chance. It's not like Namibia is playing. I mean, because Sri Lanka has got, like he said, they've got pedigree.
Yeah.
The players are capable of doing it. You saw those numbers with De Silva. Last 5-7 games, 50 plus score every time. Mendis, sorry. Yeah. And 50 plus score every innings, which shows you consistency. And he plays with that strike rate that if he gets going, then Rajapaksa, like he said at the end, and Shanaka for me is, one of the finest at the moment who to play because he's one of those that it never hurts you. Yeah. But he does the job every time. He comes back not out. He, finishes games. And then they've got decent spinners. But they need a start at the top.
Yeah.
If they get a start, then this team can knock off. And we were talking in Hindi the first day. This is one team that will knock off one of these teams in this tournament.
Yeah,
which day, you don't know. Nice. Because on their best day, they have the capability to knock any side in this World Cup.
Yeah.
But the only problem with them is that can they do it 4 games out of 5? Because to go on and win in IPL, not IPL, I keep going. In the Asia Cup, it worked out for them. That momentum just happened at the right time. And
but here, can they
went all the way. Here, I doubt that, but I back them to knock one of these 3 big teams one day.
Yeah, and to do it consistently without that quick bowler, right? Without that real tear-away fast bowler. Anyway, on your best day, still a challenge for you to solve the joy factor question. Tell you that. Because our big brother, he don't phone it in, man. He don't phone it in. He's serious about this. Bring the question. It's okay. Don't be shy. Yeah, you're scared, huh? If Taijul Islam and Kagiso Rabada were the first 2 to accomplish this feat, which Sri Lankans are the next 2? I mean, really. Like, what is going on? I have no idea. I don't even know which zone to start thinking in. But if you know, hashtag Cricbuzz Live,
See-
hashtag Joy Factor, send in your answer. You do know, right? You know the answer?
No, when in doubt, you have to say Hasaranga.
When in doubt, say Asaranga.
When,
All right, come on.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm just saying if I had to guess, if I had to score one run of the last ball and my guess defend, I would say Hasaranga and run.
Asaranga. Okay. This is in
But there are
Hindi they say na, sir. In Hindi they say fatte, lapet lo. Lapet lo.
अभी तो वो तीर चलाते थे, ये मंजीरा चलाते हैं, ये पूरी टीम डेंजरस है.
Okay, real quick before we wrap up. Perth, it's Sri Lanka batting first. Score guesses. Score guesses, sir.
I don't know. मेरे को ना अंदर I don't know why एक गलत आवाज or what some instinct I'm getting and I'm thinking 115, 118.
Ooh.
I don't know why.
Low ball.
I don't know why. Just an instinct.
You know why you're saying it?
Reason would say.
I'll tell you why you're saying it. It's the time difference that Sri Lanka's playing with. And you think I'm being facetious and I'm joking, but I'm not. This is quite serious. Because till yesterday, they were on the East Coast. Today, they're on the West Coast. There's a 3-hour time difference there. They've taken the flight yesterday, haven't they, Harsha?
Yeah. So they were playing in Geelong, then they moved to Hobart, which is a 5.5-hour time difference with India. Then they flew to Perth, which is a 4-hour, 45-minute flight. And there's a 3-hour time difference. So for their body clock, it is what my body clock is at the moment, which is getting to 10, which is 10 o'clock at night.
They're playing a 7 p.m. game in Perth, but their body clock... Now think about it. A lot of you have flown places where there's a 3.5 hour difference. Your body doesn't catch up in one day. These guys are elite athletes, but still, there is a bit of a difference. No making no excuses. Just telling you the score as it is, because that's all we do. I'm guessing 164.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Should I go higher or lower?
Your call, sir. Whatever your feelings.com is
No,
telling you.
if it's 120, 30, then possible.
No, 120 instinct bol raha hai. If reason would say 150
We've
plus,
taken your guess.
I've got this instinct.
As 120. I'm wrapping up in 10 seconds. So 120, your guess is taken. 164 is mine. Your
Plus
number?
10.
Mine, plus, okay, 174. Done. We've got the guesses in. That's all we have time for right now on Cricbuzz Live. We're going to see you in the com box, which is going to be at the end of 10 overs. We're going to go grab a snack right now. And Mr. Bhogle is going to be grabbing breakfast or something. I don't know. It's pretty late where he is. But we're going to come back and see you right here. So keep your notifications on Cricbuzz. We're here with you all day today. Just the one game in the World Cup, but whether it's one game or whether it's two, we are here with you all the time. When there's three, we're also here, but only for two. Goodbye.